And we're now joined here by Luke O'Connor, the independent candidate here for Carlow Kilkenny. He's just bowed out with 1,625 votes, I believe.
26, Paul. Give me
26,
credit. Give me
20,
credit. Give me
26.
credit.
Sorry. I'm, I'm,
It's the
I'm,
establishment.
I'm stealing a vote off you. But overall, Luke, how do you feel about your performance?
Yeah, no, look, I'm happy enough. For us to finish ahead of an elected councillor anywhere is a good day for us. And like I think a lot of, especially with the way the field was so fractured between the smaller parties and the independents. I'm very happy, and I've kind of proven a point to a few people on my own side as well as other people. From earlier in the year. Like people were kind of saying about, oh, geez, it wasn't a great vote in the locals. The reality in the locals was there was 20 candidates in the field. So I think I'm definitely after proving a few people wrong in terms of, I got a good vote there considering, there's 20 candidates.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose during the course of the campaign, what kind of things stuck out, or what would have been kind of the highlights of it for you?
Yeah, well, look, I suppose like every candidate kind of has their own thing, and I think that kind of dictates what comes up on the doors, because a lot of the time people are asking you what your main issues are, and like obviously my main issue, it's no secret, has been you know the destruction of our tourist industry because of the iPass situation. You know, the immigration is too high. And that we have to save rural Ireland from the green agenda. And that I saw the third point there really resonate with people in rural Ireland.
Yeah, well, the Green Party are being completely wiped. They may, there's if things go to plan, they may get one in Roger O'Gorman, but there's a very, very strong chance they'll end up with zero. So you feel that the green agenda has kind of taken a bit of a pushback.
Yeah, and look, that's positive, but that's the kind of party the Greens are. Like they kind of go in with the tide and out with the tide. Every time they're in government. So, like, look, people have a short memory. They could be back in 5 years' time with 8 to 10 seats again. You wouldn't know,
Exactly. But overall, where do you see the movement, or where there's independents like yourself, there's parties of similar ilk, as it's very fractured. Wouldn't it make a lot more sense if these parties, independents, could band together and form one solid block, one party? I know what I'm saying is a much more easier said than done, but do you think that's the way forward?
It's obviously the way forward. The problem is that there's too many headbangers around the place. And I said that to people all the way through the campaign. Too many guys around there who shouldn't be, who have no reason to be running in politics, because the reality is that they can't articulate the arguments well, and then they bring the whole immigration argument down to a level that it should never be brought down to. Like I'm gone mad for the last years, the last 5 years, hearing about military aged men. Like it's just as if that's just a blanket argument. Say that. Like it's one of the most stupid arguments I've ever heard in my life. Like if you listen to a lot of what I talked about throughout the campaign, a lot of it is the economic implications of immigration. And I think everyone can see that argument. Whereas when people go off on these kind of arguments about oh, the country is being being from the inside, and that's what's killing it's stopping people being able to talk about immigration, because it is an important issue. Even in the exit polling it said it was a huge issue for people. The problem is that they actually see Fine Gael as more competent in delivering it. I don't see it, but we have to, our job over the next 5 years is to prove that no, we are more competent than them on immigration.
Well, if Roger O'Gorman says 21,000, asylum seekers, refugees coming to the country is going to be the new normal. We're going from previously was 3.5. You have to plan and prepare for that. So I'm going to hand you over to my colleague now, Paidi Manning. So,
Luke, this is not your first rodeo in politics. It's your first general election, but you did run in the local elections this year under the Irish Freedom Party banner. Probably maybe two questions for you on that front. Why did you decide to run as an independent as opposed to under their party banner? And how do you think you would have fared had you stayed with the Irish Freedom Party?
I think, well, look, the reason I didn't run with them is because I had a problem with some of the candidates they were selecting. My main job in the party was to select the candidates, you know, and when I was being undermined, you know, I said, look, that's not good enough, and particularly in this area where my name was synonymous with the party. You know, nobody else's name was synonymous with the party. It was me. It was basically, I was a one-man band. I was basically an independent, but I was pulling the brand up here.
I'd agree with you there. Yeah.
And you know, when we had a falling out about a candidate being selected, and I didn't think it was good enough, and I was proven to be right because we outdid them on the day, you know.
And you got a nice chunk of the figures here.
5-7, was it?
Yeah, 257 votes from Orla Dunn, who went towards yourself.
Yeah.
You were happy with that transfer?
Yeah, well, like I thought it would be, and I kind of woke up this morning and I thought we would overtake Wallace. I thought it would be hard to overtake McGuinness, you know. But if we had overtaken McGuinness, we would have gone again. Do you know that kind of way? We would have, or even if we had overtaken O'Harrigan, like we would have got a good transfer there from North Kilkenny. So, like it could have been a if we were just a couple of hundred votes away from kind of, you know, boosting a lot, you know, that kind of way. And look, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But as regards the IFP, if I had been if I'd run under their banner, it's hard to know. Would I wouldn't have had to deal with the vote split, but I mightn't have got the
Yeah,
transfers.
count 6.
Yeah, bye.